But what about what kind of mother, father, sibling, lover, community advocate, or writer, creative you are? Hey there, welcome back. I'm Dr. Vernita Glenn White. I go by Dr. V, and I am your brilliant solutionist. I help you embrace your brilliance and expand your life, expand your business, and help you explore untapped potential and explore possibilities in multiple areas of your life. We are continuing to talk about the area of self-expansion and personal growth. And in this video, I'm going to ask you a question. This is going to be very short, but I want to know, when was the last time you took personality test or a self-inventory test? And the reason why I ask that is because this is the time when you're doing any type of growth, expansion, improvement. You want to know why you make certain decisions. You want to know how your brain operates, what makes you tick. And I think a lot of times for us high achievers, those of you who are top performers, you are like the leaders of the pack. I think you've done this professionally in a lot of areas. I know I tend to attract a lot of people who are in leadership roles, and they've taken like some leadership assessments, but I don't know if you've taken them and looked at them as it related to who you are at your core. I like to say the university of you, going into the different segments of you and why you may operate a certain way. So like I said, I know a lot of people take these like the DISC assessment, strengths finders. There's another one, I can't pronounce it, but it's all of those different types of things. And a quick Google search to do an assessment. I know ET has a flight assessment. So there are different types of assessments that you can take. I love them all. They all have their pros and cons, but for the most part, they're all, pretty great starts. And I know that a lot of people look at them as it relates to their professional lives. Like, what type of leader am I? What type of CEO am I? What type of businesswoman, executive, businessman, all of those things. But what about what kind of mother, father, sibling, lover, community advocate, or writer, creative you are? Have you ever thought about the personality assessments in those areas? And the reason why I think that's important is because, again, you want to take inventory of yourself. If you're looking out of your life and you're like, I want more, I've written down my goals, or I'm crushing them in certain areas, but why does it feel like, is more out there? It's because you haven't allowed yourself to touch multiple areas of your life. And you probably haven't done that because you don't know how, or you haven't given yourself permission to do that. Another thing is, you could have taken a certain assessment and it said that you were one way, and maybe you tried to approach it that type of style in this area and it doesn't work. And maybe because you looked at the assessment, let's say for leadership, it said that you were, I don't know, authoritative. I'm just trying to go back. I have a master's in leadership, but I can't tell you the last time I looked at an education leadership personality test or a leadership personality test. But I'm just going to say authoritative because that's the type of leadership style. Some people say that's a personality trait of leaders. So you've taken that approach and it may have served you well professionally, but then you try to show up that way, in your personal life with your, let's say, your friend circle. And you're like, okay. And then they don't say too much to you, but you're like, well, why aren't we growing as friends? Why is, we're just here at the same place? Well, maybe because you're too authoritative with them and they're not going to tell you. And I'm not saying that you don't have those qualities and those qualities didn't serve you well, but if you haven't taken true inventory of who you are at your core, maybe you're really not that type of person. Maybe you had to show up that way in your leadership style, but that's not who you are at your core. So let me know if you're following me with this, because sometimes I think we take personality tests and they're like, that's the golden ticket. This is what it is. But that's not always the case. I think when you look at them, we have a lot of those traits in us, but it's really about which one is the dominant. one. And taking personal inventory, when you truly know yourself, you get to know which one to raise up, which one to like lower down. And not saying lower yourself, but when to turn it on, when to dial it back when you're in certain situations, because you are in charge of you. You are the CEO of Y-O-U. So when you take inventory of yourself, you'll know what is in front of you, and you will know how to move accordingly or move strategically, because the end goal is to expand and up level and have a more fulfilled life in multiple areas, not just like with friends and family and your career, but also, you know, your creative side, your intellectual side, your community side, you know, your whatever else that you want to do. But you have to know how you operate in different settings. And in order to know that, you will have to put yourself in different settings, or at least know what's available. So there are two ways to look at that. One, I do invite you to take multiple, what did I just say? Personality tests. And then I also invite you to start looking at multiple areas of your life. You can start with 5 areas that we talked about in the previous video. I know that there are the 9 environments of you. I love that. And then there are the 12 areas of life, and you get to interchange them however you want to. But to start thinking about that, and that's how you start taking true inventory of yourself, and not just taking a personality test for what it says. Because a lot of times we can say, oh, I'm this type of person, and it's like you try to be that person in all of the other areas, and that's not how it goes, right? So think about that as you are thinking, you know, especially as we're coming up on the new year. And this is just beyond the new year. Like there was one guy who said every day is January 1st. And I started to believe that. So if you are hearing this video and you don't need to wait until December, you can start now about looking at those areas, start taking inventory of yourself, taking those personality tests. And then that way you can have something to track and measure that's aligned to your vision and mission, and as you expand your life. All right, so let me know what came up for you. Let me know if you have some of your favorite personality tests. I would love to hear them down below. And as we are moving forward, I want you to remember to be well, be empowered, be bold, and be brilliant. Until next time, bye.